Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the crossover in the week of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. Wanted to take this opportunity to, analyze a little bit the event, what can happen, especially in the semifinals. And we have some of the best journalists and legends in Europe to do so. My name is Javier Gancedo. I'm one of the editors of the EuroLeague official website, EuroLeague.net. You probably guessed already that Arlauckas is not with us today, but we have some surprises along the week, and of course he will be back at some point, and it's going to be very exciting, I tell you that. Joining me are Piti Hurtado, professional basketball coach and analyst and color commentator of DAZN. Piti, hello.
Hello, how are you? Nice to be here with you and with the other guests.
It's been a long season, and the good part is about to come, right?
Yes, the good part is coming. I can't wait. I think that if we had the best playoffs in the EuroLeague history, we are going to have a very, very good Final Four.
Andrea Solaini, Eurosport Italy, how are things up there?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it feels good because it was almost 30 years that the Italian team as Olimpia Milano was in the Final Four, so they're very excited. All the, I would say, the basketball in Italy are excited for this trip to the promised land.
First time since 1992. You have players like Gigi Atome, like Gianluca Basile, like Riccardo Pitis, but of course having a team back in the Final Four for the first time since Siena in 2011 must be really special.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah,
absolutely.
10 years ago.
Begum Unal, Trend Basket, how's everything?
Well, from the Turkish side, I would say that Turkish teams are now used to being in the Final Four in the past years, and what we have also as Turkey, we have one title as well, and I'm definitely looking forward to be in Köln from tomorrow on. Can't wait to be in the Final Four back again.
Right, Anadolu Efes was the first Turkish team in all the sports to win a European title in 1996. This is 25 years later. It's like going full circle if they win, right?
Yes, but by the way, the Turkish teams in other sports, they have some titles, obviously. In volleyball, to say, we have some very successful teams in volleyball. But when we look at the basketball, obviously, Efes had the past successes, and then for many years, Turkey was not at the very high level. Beşiktaş and Galatasaray have some other titles in Europe, but finally with Fenerbahce, Turkey was able to bring the top title to Turkey, and now let's hope that it's gonna come back to Turkey again with Efes.
We shall see. And last but definitely not least, Olympic champion, Eurobasket champion, World Cup champion, probably one of the most recognizable faces of European basketball in the 80s, Sergey Tarakanov. How are things?
Yeah, hello. Nice to hear from you. Nice to see you and all about basketball friends. And I'm happy to join you.
17th time for CSKA in the last 18 opportunities. It looks like the Final Four is played by 4 teams, and CSKA seems to be one of them all the time. That's a great achievement, of course.
Yeah, yes, it's a kind of tradition now for CSKA, but it's also dangerous because all fans, they used to think that CSKA is going to win, and they must to win. But I think that CSKA in this very difficult and extremely difficult season for any team, they achieved already big success for them to be in the Final Four. It's already a victory, like for most of the team participated in the Final Four. I'm sure that they have ability to win, but as well as any other team. But we will see next days.
Well, before we look forward to the Final Four, let's look back at what has been a great Turkish Airlines EuroLeague season. Let's start with CSKA, since we're with you, Sergey. And CSKA lost 2 potential MVP candidates. Nikola Milutinov went down with injury. Mike James is not with the team anymore, but still made it to the Final Four. How has been the season for CSKA so far?
Yeah, I repeat that season was very strange and very difficult, and CSKA is continue the tradition, like Coach Tudis said, and I'm very close to CSKA, to the office CSKA, and commenting games on Russian TV also, VTB League and EuroLeague games. So I know a lot about spirit which CSKA office and the club gives to the new players like Shengele, like Milutinov. Loss of Milutinov is a very, very big loss for any team, and he had a great season before his injury. Mike James is another story. He is one of the best individual performance in EuroLeague, and he proved it a lot, but very tough character, and it's a loss for the fans because it's fun to watch him, but sometimes he can win the game, he can lose the game, and it's what's happened to his in his career all the time. He is not easy guy, and he went to the clinch with coach Tudis, and it's a big loss because individually he is a great player. CSKA played up and down, but always they had during the season they had this spirit of the winners, and it's because of big support from the office of CSKA, and Tudis also. He is great enthusiast, and he is he is on fire when he is every day. He lives with the basketball, and it helps a lot that they signed him another 2 years, and the kind of credit for players who is in the roster of CSKA. And I think they're on the right way now.
Of course, this is a roundtable. Feel free to talk about it. But for instance, Piti, you've seen a lot of CSKA games this season. Do you think that the late additions of Lundberg and Michael Eric have helped the team make it where they are?
Of course, it helped because it's question to me.
No, it's for Piti. We can delete this.
I'm sorry.
I'll go again, Piti, just in case. Piti, like I said, CSKA, I think they made a good move bringing Michael Eric and Ife Lundberg at the end of the regular season. That has proven to be a very good move, right?
It was a good move for regular season so far. But for the playoffs, I think that they needed to make a short rotation, use more players like Daniel Hackett, play more balls inside for Will Clyburn and Lambert. I think that he's going to be a very good player in the future for the big games. Maybe he's going to have some time in the Final Four, but to me, the most important moment of the season need a lot of different players. Of course, Michael Eric has to play because they don't have like we said, without Milutinovic. But to me, it's more important for Itudis to know what players have the expertise right now. Even with that, during the regular season at the final, they help a lot to CSKA to be up in the standings.
You mentioned Daniel Hackett. Andrea, what's the vision in Italy? I guess that everybody thinks that Daniel Hackett has improved a lot year after year, especially in the last 3-4 years since he joined CSKA, right?
Yeah, Daniel grew up a lot in last season, as you said correctly, because it was in the best moment of his career to go in a club like CSKA. It's not easy to go there and play like another team. I think you go really in the elite. So this growing up in 3 seasons, this season is a step up during the playoff because of maybe the absence of Mike James. Obviously, he has more minutes, he has more possessions because Hackett is not talented like Mike James, maybe half, but I don't know. But it's not the problem of basketball because in a team, players like Daniel are important, are vital, I would say, because they play offensive basketball. He plays very well in the playoff, but always play the defensive part of the game, which is the part that make you win the titles. So I think it can be a star in the Final Four because of the new confirmation of CSKA. As I said that, I think the Russian, you have always to talk with them about the title. You know it, and I think Efes has a very good test in the semifinal.
Moving on to Efes, Begum, Vasilij Micic has been just chosen as the EuroLeague MVP, first Anadolu Efes player to receive this honor. I guess it's a big thing. What do you think about Micic's season so far?
Micic season, at the beginning of the season when we were everybody was predicting what will happen, Efes with Vasilij Micic and Shane Larkin were they will come back and win this title again. And during the season, obviously, the team had their ups and downs, but Vasa, despite the last season, Shane Larkin being the team leader, this season Vasilij Micic came up and said, okay, we need to, because they had a not good start to the season. Efes didn't have the best start to the season, and he was the guy to come up and say, hey, we gotta do this. We have an unfinished job, and he was definitely leading the season. And I believe this MVP award is a well-deserved award for him from his side, and we will see. And when it comes to the upcoming 1 or 2 games, I believe Vasa will be one of the key players in the team, but not limited to him, obviously.
Yeah, they have a very deep team, and I think the same can be said Piti about Barcelona. They have a fantastic roster. During the season, they beat Milano twice, especially the game in Milan was, I think they played the best defense of the whole year. Could it be a factor in the Final Four? And also, what do you think about Barcelona's season so far?
First question about the defense or this kind of factor. I think that for the players, the pressure at the beginning of the semifinals always is a big weight. Then, if Barcelona can play similar defense that they did during the regular season, not in the playoffs, maybe it's going to be a factor. Overall, if they can play this kind of defense over the pick and roll defense, Delaney with the ball, ball handler, or Chacho with the ball. And the Barcelona season, of course, 2 factors for this kind of teams, and they were the leaders of the regular season. First, not many coronavirus cases. It was important to have a good level during the season. And second, no big injuries. Victor Claver, maybe this personal issue that Mirotic was out for 1 month, more or less, and they had a very good pace. Let's see. It's difficult to know because during the playoffs, Xavi Pascual and San Petersburgo, Zenit, shows that if you help less and you don't switch, Barcelona can have problems at offense. But Final Four is very different to all the things that we were seeing during the season. To me, Barcelona was playing very good defense. They were tough, and now they have to show this toughness during 40 minutes in the next game.
I wanted to ask Andrea Begum about the series between Milano and Bayern Munich. I know that Begum followed it really well because she was in Munich. Well, it was one of the best series I think I've seen. And in general, the playoffs have been great. How do you think that Milan overcame the pressure of being 2-0, having the series tied, and then winning Game 5 like they did?
Well, the answer is not easy, but in my opinion, is the result of the job that Ettore Messina did this season. Because this club became last season, and the season was interrupted. He has to refund everything. So he starts from the basis, and then he arrived to the team. And maybe the end of the season, the last season, Strange, in some way help him because he can put his 4 or 5 players that he need and create the technical mix he wanted since the beginning. But the first season he cannot change so much the roster as he want, I think. So this season was the perfect one in the sense that they have a good start. They don't have as I say, Piti, for Barcelona, they don't have a bad season for injuries because they have some problems with Mitsov particularly, but the big players didn't have any problem. So they rediscovered the greatness of basketball of Milan in the 90s, in the 80s, winning everywhere this season. This is the key, more important, I think, that the two losses against Barca, because Barca maybe is the only team that Armani Exchange didn't beat this season. The other, they won back-to-back in Istanbul in the moment that Fenerbahce and Efes wasn't so in shape, but it's not a problem. I think it is the iconic win. They won in Madrid. They won everywhere in Europe, and this gives a confidence to a team. So I think the moment is perfect. They arrived there in tonified, I would say, fortified by the series against Bayern, because Bayern Munich was maybe the worst opponent they can have, because they matched very well with the Armani Exchange, and we see during the series was very level. And they need a game 5, a big game 5. They played it again. So I think they are experienced and youth mixed very well by Messina. So they are bad client, I think, to find in a single game like Barcelona have to play on Friday. I would say, obviously, Barcelona is favorite, but I would say that Efes is more favorite on CSKA than Barcelona on Armani Exchange, because of the characteristic of the teams, just like that. So there are a lot of confidence, I think, from the Italian side.
Begum, anything to add?
So, well, I mean, one thing I want to add is that this experience factor. So when you match with Olimpia Milano, the team has one of the most experienced group of players. Like, I mean, Kyle Heinz is the legend of this league, although like he's never like been to this MVP list at the end of the season. He's a clear MVP, and he's every season at the Final Four. And then you have Sergio Rodriguez, a guy who can do anything at any time, and you don't know. And when he's in the mood, you can control him. And then you have a player like Gigi Datome, and this guy has all the experience, and he is also a guy like he knows what to do at what time. And then the rest of the players, Milano team has a very great range of talented players. And then you have players like Wille de Mizzo, and maybe he was never in the EuroLeague Final Four, or like doesn't have the greatest experience in the playoffs, but he played very high level basketball in Turkey. The years he played in Turkey was like, the Turkish league was great. He was doing great with Galatasaray, and he knows how to play under pressure. And all the rest of the team, players like Panther or like Delaney, the guys, they know how to play the ball. And when it comes to the series, obviously Bayern was a little bit unlucky with their domestic league schedule. I mean, there's one factor, experience, and the talent factor. Obviously, there is some, Milano is over them. And at the end of the day, also Bayern had a lot more home games than the rest of the playoff teams. It was crazy because the league started very late, and they finished, and they have to play in very tight schedule. Every 2 days they play a game, and this was like they were out of battery. And then Nick Weiler-Bepp was out, so there was not much to do for them.
I have a question for all of you. My opinion is that probably this is the most competitive season ever in the EuroLeague. What do you think? Do you agree? I mean, Sergey, for instance, what do you think? Do you think that this could be the most competitive? I mean, we saw a lot of road wins. We saw very tight playoff series. Could this be the most competitive season ever?
Yeah,
It is.
for sure. For sure, for me is most interesting in competitive season, and we've seen so many unpredictable results of the games, and I think it was a lot of fun to watch and follow these games. Obviously, for me, it's the best season of EuroLeague.
I agree. Obviously, it's all for the return of the Italian team. It was enough for me. So now I would say seriously that's it. We have I think there was a moment there was 12 teams involved in a playoff hunt. So 3 games to go. There was the best spot you can have if you have a league with like EuroLeague. So it's perfect. we have a lot of fun during the season, so we expected to have a lot also this weekend.
It's funny because then in the playoffs, the home factor was very important. But going to the reasons of this situation of very, very difficult to play without the crowd and without the noise, to me, the first 2 months were very, very complicated for all the players and the coaches, because a lot of doubts. If you are playing on this arena or you are playing in other arena, it was difficult for them. And then the basketball was increasing the level, and we have very good advanced stats talking about overtimes, talking about how tight were the games, very different to other seasons, and how the percentage were increasing because some players were playing in a little bit different way than other seasons.
I mean, as everybody said, it was like a really great season, and definitely the best one, because at the end of the playoffs, we had some fight going on in the court. Like how Real Madrid came back against Efes is incredible after the season they had, like losing the players on the way, and against the one of the main Final Four title contenders. Or like, who could imagine that Bayern Munich will chase the Final Four until the very last second? I mean, how the game was going out of the hand of Milano, like nobody really could imagine this. I mean, people were saying, okay, at the end of the day, we do not have a surprise in the Final Four. Let's be honest. Like all the predictions were right. Milano, Barcelona, Efes, and CSKA are the Final Four teams. But on the way till now, like we had really great season, despite the fact that unfortunately there were no fans most of the time.
There were 3 game 5. That's enough, I think.
It says it all. Well, let's start analyzing the semifinals. Let's start with the game between CSKA Moscow and Anadolu Efes Istanbul. But before that, we talked this morning with Dr. Shengeli and Rodri Bebois, and we want to play their videos. We want you to see their answers, and then we'll take it from there. All right?
Man, it feels amazing, man. To be honest, I mean, it is my second Final Four, but then the first one I didn't play, and I knew I was not gonna play, so the feeling was different. You know? But now that I know that I'm gonna play, I kind of can't wait for these 2 days to pass as quick as possible, you know, just to go and play. I don't think so, man. You know, I think that whatever happened in the past, in the playoffs, you gotta live in the past. You know, this is a brand new chapter. You know, like, and you have to give 100% because then I give you extra points to start the game because you swept someone. You know, like 0-0 game, and everybody's trying to win. So I think it's gonna be a whole new chapter, like I said. Yeah, man. I mean, I think we have to. Whatever we do, we have to be consistent all 4th quarters, because I think that we've seen Efes going, if we want to talk about the playoffs, going against Real Madrid, like even the 5th game, you know, like they were not that great in the first half, but in the second half they came back and won the game, you know. So I think that we have to be consistent all 4th quarter, and every position should count.
Yeah, clearly, because like you said, last year, after 2 years ago being in a final, last year we did a very good job. We were pretty much the entire season at the first position. So when we had to stop the season, it was hard for all of us because we were pretty confident about last year. But COVID happened, and we had to do what we had to do. So the fact that to be able to, after all that, come back to the Final Four and try to compete this time and win the championship, it's amazing, especially knowing that this season was not easy for us. We started pretty slow. It was kind of tough to get into a rhythm. We were missing some players. COVID happened too. So it was difficult. But then to be able to make it to the end, it's pretty good. Yeah, it was kind of crazy because maybe we got too confident because, like you said, the first 2 games were I don't want to say easy, but we made them easy. We won by like large. It was pretty significant win. So maybe we going to Madrid, we were too confident, and Madrid I mean, it's a very experienced team. They've been in that position a lot of times. So yeah, they were prepared for us. They didn't give up at all. And yeah, the way the 2 games over there were like, wow, like that was, now that we won, I can say, wow. If we would have lost, I would have felt different about it. But yeah, what they did was pretty amazing. And respect to them, like, congratulations. They made it very hard for us, but somehow we were able to close it out at home. The beauty of the Final Four for the fans is the fact that it's one game and anything can happen in one game. For us, is to make sure that we give it all. Like, to make sure that starting on Friday, we give everything we have. Like, we do our best, because we know that we have to respect the CSK team. They've been there a bunch of time, very experienced. So we need to make sure that we play hard and we go at it, because it's not going to be easy at all. So that's all we can do. Play our best game. And yeah, I believe that if we can do that, we're going to be very difficult to beat.
Okay, so we saw Shengeli and Rodri. They talked about Rodri, talked about the series against Madrid. I'm going to start with Piti and Sergey, who did the playoffs of Match City and DAZN. You know, these teams played in the 2019 championship game, and Efes is back with 11 of the players who were there 2 years ago. Is that an advantage for them? Do you think that having the same core of players gives them an edge in the semifinal?
Yeah, of course, it's advantage, because when you play and recently I read the interview of Micic, new MVP of the regular season and the EuroLeague season, and he said that our advantage is that we play together three years already, and they played great end of last season, which was postponed and interrupted. And by my opinion, they played best basketball in those period of time. In the beginning of this season, they were not so well. And in December, if I remember, when they played CSKA in December, they were on 9th place. But end of regular season, again, by my opinion, they played best basketball among other teams. When they played two games in playoff against Real Madrid, they were great. And I confirm my opinion and Babua's opinion, Mr. Babua's opinion, that they were too relaxed in the game against Real Madrid, and respect to Real Madrid team, which show character. But since then, we all of us, we remember this crucial game, 5th game in Istanbul, when this crucial Simon 3 points, which decide the game at the end of the 5th game, and it was very, very unpredictable who will win. Okay, so it's a little bit long, but I respect a lot Coach Ataman. And they play great. They play a lot. They have a lot of great players: Micic, Larkin, Mr. Defense, Dunston, Simon. So it's a bunch of players who have experience, who is hungry to win, and it's not easy for CSKA.
As the legend said, they have 4 players on his prime or very close to his prime. All the people outside, Micic, Larkin, Beaubois, Simon. But I have to say something. I'm not agree with Beaubois. I don't think that is a kind of relax on this playoff for the Real Madrid comeback. They were playing very good pace in this hand-off motion, or on this pick and roll in the middle with a ghost screen of Sertac Stanley. But then Pablo Lasso switched and made some adjustment. Then it's other team in front doing different things. They want to play on this situation all the time, and they had to change a lot of. And then Chris Singleton show up in the famous 5th game. Now they have CSKA. CSKA is very good defense, is very good ambition in all the time that they are going to play in the Final Four, and they have Will Clyburn. it is going to be difficult for Efes because they have very good offense, but at defense, maybe they are not so good like in offense, to adjust the Will Clyburn key that, let's remember, he is the MVP of the last Final Four.
Well, let's talk about key players, and I would like to ask Andrea and Begum about them. And I'm going to throw in the first name, like Piti said. Will Clyburn is playing excellent basketball. He can play the 3, he can play the 4. He had a great series just recently, last week, in the PTB League against Zenit. And he's the reigning Final Four MVP, like Piti said. Do you think that there are any other players who can actually make the difference in this semifinal?
Yes, I expected from Tornike Shengelia. Actually, a few years ago, for a national team event, he was in Munich in summer, and I asked him for the Trend Basket project this question: what is your best EuroLeague moment? And the answer was, it's been a few years that I'm here at Baskonia. I still haven't won anything, and I think best moments are combined with the wins. And he said, my best moment is yet to come. And this is his chance to prove himself and get this title and have his best EuroLeague moment. And I believe, I mean, this is a little bit emotional to say, but I believe he's a very emotional player as well. And he will go on the court and fight for that title to satisfy himself, plus to make his best for this team. And so I believe that Shengelia from the side of CSKA will be the key player. I expect him to do this. From the Efes side, I believe that Simon is the crucial guy of the team because they have 2 leaders, and they have Dunstan as the big man. He's solid pretty much all the time. But Kruno has this, he is not in the very front. He's not the main leader of the team, but his performance is affecting Efes a lot, and I expect a lot of 3-pointers from him if Efes wants to win.
Andrea?
I have to agree with Clyburn, which is maybe the MVP or the co-MVP of this season. In general, is one of the best player in Europe from many years. So he can make the difference, obviously, in a single game. I think if you look at the roster of CSKA and Efes, there are, I don't know, 10 players that can step up on Friday and win that game, particular game, because that's the big thing of Friday. The characters are fundamental. So I would say something about tactical of the game, which is, I think there are 2 scripts very similar in the sense that Efes, in my opinion, is I would say a little bit favored on CSKA because of his way of playing. I think in a single game, like I would be in the Final Four, if you are a team that search for rhythm, search for offense, obviously you have to defend. But I think in the Final Four, everybody try to defend. The strength is maximum, and the offense often makes the difference, because if you put 90 points on the board, then you can defend more, I would say, easy the question. I think Efes want to score, want to run, want to play certain kind of basketball. CSKA will try to stop it, to control the tempo of the game. And the second semifinal, I would say that's the same script. From the difference is that Armani Exchange is the underdog in the other semifinal, and the other Armani Exchange is very dangerous because he will try to make plays, to run, to find a rhythm, because they know that Barcelona, I don't think they will agree and will join this kind of game in the Jasikevich's mind, but maybe it's my opinion.
One more question. I think we haven't talked enough about Micic and Larkin. Larkin had probably one of the best Final Fours individually in 2019 of the last 20 years. He played amazing semifinals and final. And Micic arrives with the confidence of being the season MVP for the first time in his career. Do you think that confidence that they have in this scenario, and I'm throwing the question for any of you, can make the difference in this semifinal?
I think Misic is a superstar. He was already a superstar before the MVP title, definitely. I don't know. I hope we will stay in the EuroLeague, but it's a real possibility that next seasons he will play in the NBA also. So I don't think this change so much about this mindset for this Final Four. I think Misic, Larkin, the big players of Efes know what they're gonna do and what is going to do in this weekend. Then we see, because it's a single game format, so the magician is there.
Piti, anything to add?
Well, I want to say that Shane Larkin wasn't play his best basketball in the playoffs, in my opinion. Maybe he wants to repeat this kind of numbers that you said from the last Final Four, and maybe on his mind, he's thinking on the future. And for him, very important to win the title and to be the man, to be the MVP. He's coming from a very winner family, and maybe on his ADN, now he's preparing himself to play the best basketball on his career.
I'd like to ask Sergey about Dimitris Itoudis. The reason why is Itoudis has become the first coach in Final Four history to play 6 consecutive Final Fours, all with CSKA. Do you think that, how much of a factor has he been over the last 6 years for CSKA to stay at the top level, even win 2 more championships and have another opportunity to win a 3rd one this time?
You know, phenomenon of coach Itoudis, who become coach of CSKA, how many? 6 years ago?
6 years, yeah.
6 years. And he went to CSKA after he was working with Panathinaikos with Željko Obradović as assistant many years, but not as a head coach. After that, he was working in Turkey, and it was kind of risk for president of the club, Vatutin. I spoke with him several times, and he explained that it was kind of risk when Messina left the team. But coach Itoudis is a respectful coach. Of course, twice he won EuroLeague, and he study every day. That's what I mean. He is passion of basketball. He is on fire with basketball, and he gives this fire to his players. And I think it's one of the sign of success of coach Itoudis and CSKA also, because he lives the basketball, and he improved a lot. By my opinion, I'm not coach, of course, but I see that in the beginning, sometimes it was a different situation when he lost the concentration and lost the in the crucial games. He was a little bit in between his decisions. And now he knows for sure what he is doing, and he's sure about his players and about his way, how he is doing. Probably someone thinks probably is not correct, but he is sure, and his sureness comes to the players. That's important, and especially in this very difficult competition like Final Four, when it's one game and when top players must play top performance, perform well and the best. And to add two more little things, by my opinion, crucial and most important player at CSKA right now is Danny Hackett, my favorite player in CSKA, and especially with the lack of ball handlers in CSKA. Him and Kleiber, most creative players who gives the way how CSKA will play. And for Efes, it's very important to stop Hackett, because he is a ball handler and he play more than 30 minutes a game. Kleiber can substitute him for a few minutes, and they use this role of Kleiber. But Lundberg missed 10 days of the game. He was in the hospital, and nobody knows how he feel and what shape he is. that's a key player, and it's all very important for FS to stop Hackett. Of course, any player in Shengelia and any other are important, and especially in CSKA game, which is always any coach says about defense, but CSKA is offensive-oriented team, and the advantage is they fight for rebound, and especially offensive rebound is the key for the victory in many games. And last things, short things, that they 2 weeks ago CSKA played terrible playoff game in VTB League. They won against Nizhny Novgorod 2-1, and they were on the edge to lose the playoff. But series, next playoff game, semifinal game against Zenit. Zenit is a great team, is the level of Final Four team, and it helps a lot CSKA to come to the level of the playoff and Final Four. So thanks to Zenit helps a lot prepare to this Final Four. We will see soon how CSKA is ready.
Of course, the tactical battle between Ergin Ataman and Dimitri Stoudis is going to be one of the keys to this series and to the semifinal. So we will see what happens. But before we move on to the next semifinal, I want to ask you about predictions. For all four of you, who do you think is going to win the first semifinal and why?
I cannot say nothing then CSKA will win, but it will be very difficult. I would say 55 or 45 for CSKA.
Me next. Well, I mean, let's say I hope FS will win, but for both semifinals it will be very tough. And I mean, for both teams, FS and CSKA, we need to see if they're in the mood, who is in the better mood on Friday, and this will show us the winner for all games and for the final as well. Depends if those four teams are in the mood. Anybody could do anything. They have the potential. We'll see that.
My prediction is FS win in the overtime. Very tight game.
Only this semifinal. I thought both. I would say yes for FS. Me too, because I think there is a team animation, and that we can make the difference. It's not said, but I think FS very close, maybe overtime, as you said, Manuel.
All right. Well, risking on overtime is, predicting on overtime is difficult. So we'll see what's going on. Well, before we start talking about the second semifinal between FC Barcelona and AX Armani Exchange Milan, let's see some interviews we recorded with Nicolae Efes of Barcelona back in the Final Four for the first time since 2012, and Siobhan Shields, who was chosen to the All-EuroLeague second team this year.
Man, it feels great. It feels great to be here. Like you said, man, it's been crazy times this season. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of, different obstacles that teams have had to go through. But it feels good to be here. It sucks that, we can't sit across from each other, like a normal thing. But, happy to be here. My team's happy to be here. And hopefully we can take care of business. Yeah, Game 2 was a huge game for us. We, that overtime win, I think, really put us over the hump. It kind of caught us off guard in the beginning. We knew it was going to be a difficult series, but they came ready to play and gave us a hell of a series. Because, they were 4th and 5th or 3rd the whole season, right. And they come to the 8th seed, and they came to I got to give them a lot of credit. They got a great coach over there, and players came with a lot of confidence, and it was difficult. To the motivation, it was Final Four, man. You can't not be motivated.
I hope
exactly, man. I don't know where that came from, but this is it, man. This is what we've been working for all year. We got here, and now it's time to put it on the court. Like you said, Armani has tons of talent. There are a lot of veterans. Punter, Malcolm Delaney, Shields. They can all score on the perimeter, and then you got Kyle Hines. Gigi, the guys that have been in this situation before and won. Yeah, I think, that's the biggest thing for us. And those guys, with Vlado included, have been instrumental in our success this year and showing us, how to win and what it takes to win and things like that. So, it's been huge for us, and they're the pillars of our team. As a team, we knew we needed to win, and like we talked about with Kyle and Chacho and Gigi and all those guys, they've been there before and got us to this point. So just going in the game, we had to win, and that was our only mindset. And luckily, we got it done. Yeah, Barcelona is a great team, and we got to play a great game that night in order to win. And I think coach and the coaching staff will put us in a good position to have the right game plan to go in and try to put our best foot forward. As players, we got to be focused and locked in on what we're trying to execute, and execute it to the best of our ability.
Well, Andrea, like Shaban Shields said, and also Begum before earlier in this podcast, experience matters. And even when Milan hasn't been to the Final Four in 29 years, people like Chacho, like Kyle Hines, like Luigi Datome, they combined, I think, for 21 Final Four appearances between the three of them. Messina has also been to 14 Final Fours plus the EuroLeague semifinals in 2001. That experience has to show up in a game like this, right?
Definitely, you can do it also if you are a lot of young players, but in some moment of this kind of games, experience make the difference. Details and everything that will make a team overcome the other will come from that. I think the ability to step up in this kind of game come a lot of part of this come from the experience, because always you can imagine a 22 years old player that step up in the semifinal. Why not? But normally you expect it really from this kind of players. I don't think that Ettore Messina bring Kyle Hines and Gigi Datome here for this goal. The goal was a bigger picture, but definitely at the end of the season you are arrived maybe where you don't think you can arrive at the beginning of the season, because this team was a playoff team. Definitely was the chase of the playoff was the priority, but I don't think they thought that the Final Four was really the goal. And now they are, and a lot of players know as the know-how. So everything can happen. Really depends from a lot of from the performance of Armani Exchange, I think, the semifinal against Barcelona.
I don't know if you guys will agree, but probably the X factor in this Final Four, not just in Barcelona, but for all four teams, is Pau Gasol. Piti, I'm going to ask you about it. You saw the last Spanish League game. He was coming off the screens to shoot threes. He was diving for loose balls. In the playoffs, he was the leader in performance index rating per 40 minutes. You have talked to Pau, you have following Pau. How is he feeling before the Final Four, and how much he can change things for Barcelona?
Okay, Pau Gasol, on his first speech in the Palau Blaugrana presentation, he said that he came here to help Barcelona to win EuroLeague, and now are the biggest games. Very different Pau Gasol from the last regular season game to the Pau Gasol in the fifth game. Like you said, Javier, he was playing better defense, even with his age, his pace. He was playing in the drop pick and roll defense very high with more ambition, and could be an X factor because he's a winner. Of course, he's not going to play 35 minutes, but maybe in 15, 17 minutes, he can give to his team a lot of things. Overall, the expertise, the winner expertise.
Begum, you have watched Milan a lot. Do you think any player can make the difference, other than the experienced ones? Do you think that a player like Jeff Brooks or Michael Roll, anybody could actually take a step forward and make a difference in a game like this? So,
Shavon Shields would make the difference, I believe. If anybody from the less experienced guys would make a difference. But for me, the key player from Milano is Sergio Rodriguez. Kyle Hines has more experience overall, I believe, for the Final Fours, but Sergio, I think the shorter players will make bigger impact on the court in the Final Four. They will be the decision makers at the end. And yeah, I go with him for the MVP of the game.
Interesting. Sergey, I'm going to ask you about a player you know very well, which is, of course, Corey Higgins. He has played in 4 Final Fours, always did a great job with CSKA. How important is that experience? And the fact that he always steps up in big games in a situation like this for Barcelona.
Yeah, I am fan of Higgins. When he was playing in CSKA, it was pity he left CSKA because he is my favorite also player since those times when he performed for Moscow club. And it was this season games which I've seen it was up and down, and role is in such great team which huge roster as Barcelona. His role is a little bit different also, but he is a kind of player who can manage everything, and he is talented, he is ambitious, and he is a great player. So by my opinion, that Barcelona is a more talented team than Milano. Milano is more experienced team than Barcelona, but talent will decide more in this semifinal game. For me, Gasol will. He was just, I would say, not good. He was not good in the beginning, but in the series against Zenit, in one of the last game, he helped a lot to Barcelona to beat Zenit, and he improving. He has so much talent and size also, in the roster of Barcelona will decide a lot.
Speaking of size, Andrea, in the 2 games that Milan played against Barcelona, they had a lot of problems to contain Nick Calathes. He had over 10 assists in both games, both at Palau Blaugrana and at Mediolanum Forum. Of course, he's taller than Michael Delaney and Sergio Rodriguez, the main point guards in Milan. How much of a difference can he make? Because, he's very experienced, even when he hasn't been to the Final Four in almost a decade.
Well, I don't know if the key of the 2 successes was really definitely Calathes, because he played two wonderful games. But I think the problem was for Armani Exchange that played a level that they never met before in the season. The first time they lost 87-71 and Palau, and then they lost home 56, which is the worst result of Armani Exchange during the season, 7-2. So they, against the Blaugrana, they played very poor basketball. Obviously, the deserve was of the defense of Barcelona. So Calathes, in a game with the rhythm they want to play, in both games, Barca control the rhythm, Calathes will shine. I think he's a team player like maybe anybody else, and you will see Calathes shining when Barcelona is shining. It's difficult to see Calathes plays very well when Barcelona played not good. I think the matchups are difficult. All the matchups are difficult for the defense of Olimpia Milano. But I think about the talent, I think that the style of play that Milano want to play is more important. Maybe they are down also in talent against Barcelona, but they want to play a kind of basketball that is very, I think, that Barca doesn't like it. In the 2 games during the regular season, they were able to stop the Milano basketball. But Olimpia this time has a lot of confidence, and I don't think the 2 losses in the regular season count so much because they forgot it. They are now 2 games away from really a dream for them. But Barcelona was the target of the season to win the EuroLeague. For their Armani Exchange players, this is really would be, I don't know, but a blockbuster, unforgettable.
Completely. Piti, I want to ask you about the power forward position. Nikola Mirotic in Barcelona, he was all EuroLeague first team for the first time in his career, but there's more to that. They can use Pierre Ariola, they can use Roland Smith, even Sergey Martinez. They're really deep at the forward position. But they're going to face two players who are good defenders like Jeremy Evans and Jeff Brooks, very athletic, that can put Mirotic into trouble. What do you think?
Of course, the Milano staff were making the scouting for how Zenit defend so good with a lot of physical work over Niko Mirotic. But Niko Mirotic has to remember 2014, that Final Four, the last Final Four that he was with Real Madrid, and now the spotlight is over him. I think that he's very talented. He won the ball. I don't know if he's going to take the ball in the pick and pop outside, or if he's going to go to the playbook that Saruna Jasikevičius has for him inside with this kind of diagonal picks. But it's the moment of Niko Mirotic. I think that so far that they have, like you said, a lot of players to play on this spot, but all these players can play more defense on rebound than the offense. I think that is the moment of Niko Mirotic, and now we are going to see him.
Begum, going back to Shavon Shields, he played probably the best game of his career in the EuroLeague in Game 5 of the playoffs against Bayern Munich. It's not the first time that he did it, because I remember when he was in Trento, he played a great final against Milano also. He seems to be made for big games. Do you expect him to step up like he did in Game 5?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I said earlier, like Shavon Shields, this is why I gave his name. I mean, he's a guy who could make impact when it is needed. So he could come out of his plays and then just change the game. He has a talent to do it. I mean, obviously, Final Four is a different stage and different pressure, but I believe he has everything to change this game. I definitely agree with this.
All right, and finally, predictions. We have to. I cannot let you walk away without telling me who do you think is going to win and why. Let's start with you, Piti. What do you think? No overtimes, please. Who do you think is going to win?
Barcelona is going to win by 15 points.
Why?
Why? Because they are going to play good defense, but of course they are going to have a good 3 points percentage. Another X factor is Kyle Kuric with the best percentage of the season, and the stagger situation for him and for Alex Sabrines. Alex Sabrines in the King Cup was 100%, 8 on 8, and in the playoffs, Alex Sabrines was bad and he didn't have the ball. And now the 3 points percentage is going to be a factor.
More opinions, Andrea? What do you think? Who's going to win and why?
I will answer with the words of Chacho Rodriguez, who won the second game in the Italian semifinal with Shields, make it 25 after two games absence. So he's in shape, he's ready. I think Rodriguez at the end of the game said andiamo a Colonia a vincere, which is easy, the translation, I think. So I would say the Armani Exchange by 5 with Rodriguez, who see the Barca and become the MVP of the 13-14, easy for a night.
How about you, Sergey? What do you think is going to happen?
I would say a bet for Barcelona by 12 points.
All right. Any reason to see Barca in the final?
Why? Why?
Yes.
I didn't hear. Yeah, because I said that they are talented teams, that size very, and I still impressed. Remembering first game Barcelona against CSKA against Barcelona against CSKA in Barcelona when they destroyed with the defense, and it was very impressive. Even with star player Mike James, who cannot do anything. It was up and down after that during the season, but I believe that Sharas, which I know very well, so he will do a good job and with motivation also. So it will be an interesting game, but I'm for Barcelona. I bet on Barcelona.
Of course.
And Begum, finally, what do you think is going to happen? Who's going to win and why?
Nikola Mirotic, he didn't come back to Europe for no reason. So he has a goal and he's going to do what it requires to get this. And I agree with Sergey that Barcelona would win by 12 points.
All right. Well, guys, this was very, very insightful, very interesting. How about we do this again on Saturday? After the semifinals, we meet again and we talk about what happened and what could happen in the championship game.
Wonderful.
Okay, with pleasure.
You up for it? All right. So we'll do another one. We'll do a championship game edition of the crossover here at the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. Thank you, fans, for watching this, and see you next time.